to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everybody. I would ask the Secretary Treasurer to please call roll.
President Scott M. Harwitz.
Here.
Secretary Treasurer Bill Pell is present. Edward J. Warner.
Present.
Ann Walker.
Here.
And William Parrish.
Present.
Welcome everybody, and welcome to the folks that are on the Zoom today. Our next meeting of the trustees will be in the new year on January 8th, 2024. It'll be 1 o'clock. There will be no work session that day. That will be our organizational meeting, where we kind of get housekeeping taken care of for the upcoming year. The next work session will be on Monday, January 22nd, 2024 at 9:30 a.m., followed by our general session on January 22nd at 1 p.m. I think it's appropriate to note that effective the 28th of December, for our regular offices, we will be in Hampton Bays at 240 West Montauk Highway in Hampton Bays. Our meetings will still be here in Town Hall, but for regular business, for permits, and any other type of transaction that you would need, please come visit us there in Hampton Bays at the yellow building that is just next door to the bus company there, just east of the plaza that houses Planet Fitness and Wild by Nature, right? So that's what's going on with the trustees. It's been a long time coming, and we're going to finally get there. We'll still be coming here for our meetings, though.
Mr. President, I'd like to say a couple words about the board and the things that went on and going on in the last few years. First off, I appreciate working with Trustee Pell, Trustee Parrish, and Trustee Welker. I wish them all the success in their future endeavors, and I really appreciate the hard work that you all put in on this board and how we accomplished so much in the last 2 years especially. Looking forward to the next 2 years coming up. I see trustee-elects in the office, in the room, Trustee Chip Marin-elect, Trustee Matt Parsons-elect, and Trustee Joe McLaughlin-elect. So this is going to be the last formal meeting that we're all together, so I just want to publicly thank you guys for all your hard work, and looking forward to working with you in other capacities.
Thank you very much, Ed. I did enjoy my last 14 years here and working with everyone. Just to let you know, I guess Scott did not notify you that he's putting a chair and a desk for me in that yellow building. In case you guys want me to leave.
Okay.
He says to bring the checkbook with him.
Yes, bring the checkbook.
And pizza.
And pizza.
So,
But thank you again, everyone, and all the staff.
yep.
Yeah, I mean, I would just like to say myself as the president of the board, and I appreciate your confidence in allowing me to lead this board. And I really feel that this board was just such a productive board, a cohesive board. You know, it was just a pleasure working with people that were absolutely professionals. If you take a look in the last 2 years at what we resolved some of the oldest troublesome lawsuits that the trustees had. We did this without controversy. We did it in a non-political fashion.
And plus, I think the public likes the trustee board.
I hope that the public likes the trustee board. The trustee board.
They support us very, very well.
They do. I serve the public, and we all serve the public with great pleasure, you know, acknowledging the fact that we are the protectors of our natural resources and the defenders of public access, and basically the framework for our entire community, the entire township. I believe the trustees are the glue that holds it all together. And, you know, this board, you know, from getting very difficult permits, dealing with, you know, regulatory authorities that it took longer to get permits that will expire in a shorter period of time than it took to get them.
Yes.
And dealing with, you know, some of the issues that we have, crafting a management plan for MECOX, you know, engaging in a lot of these water quality initiatives, you know, seeing, you know, Shinnecock, you know, get designated as a hope spot, you know, with the Shinnecock restoration, and collaborating with, you know, with Dr. Gobler and Somas and Cornell and all the other folks that we do all these great shellfish projects. But it all came together right here at this table with this group of people, and I'm looking forward to working with the new trustees, and I hope we can keep the heritage of our community together, keep this trust all intact, keep tradition moving forward. This is the oldest elected board, with the guy over here, Trustee Parrish, who got a day older today. And I know, it's coming, right?
It's coming.
I know, but, all right, so let's get down to some business here before we all get a little bit older,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
We had some communications come in. I guess we can dispense with the reading of them.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Trustee Warner. All in
Aye.
favor, aye.
Aye.
There's supposed to be a discussion on with Solitude Lake Management. I'm gonna let
So-
Trustee Welker
Yep.
speak to that.
So Solitude Lake Management is the organization that was hired to remove the carp from Mill Pond. What we are working towards is to set up for removal in the springtime. So they were not able to attend today, but we will put this discussion over to
I was waiting for you to say that.
one of the first meetings of the new year, so that the new board can be on board in order to work towards the completion of this project. This is ongoing. There are multiple facets to the Mill Pond work. Mill Pond is as heavily impacted by harmful algal blooms as Lake Agawam in the village, but it doesn't get the press. So these are really important projects. They're multifaceted, and we will set them up to move forward. I would love to say seamlessly, but there always seems to be a little bump in the road or two with Mill Pond. So, but we're working towards the carp removal in the spring, as well as water lily removal going forward as well. But for today, that's pretty much the discussion, but we'll look forward to Solitude Lake Management presenting in the beginning of the year.
To be continued.
Mhm.
All right, so now let's go over to our public hearings. We do have a couple of public hearings that are scheduled for today. First one was a notice of a public hearing for the termination of waterfowl hunting location permit number 155. I will make a motion to open that public hearing.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, who wants to be taking the lead on this?
Do you want to describe it?
Go ahead.
I
you
have,
want-
I have something to say.
Go ahead.
One of the people that wanted to come speak today, at the public hearing, is unable to due to illness, and he's requested an adjournment.
Did you advise that we generally will also review written commentary for people that can't get here?
I believe he's a principal, isn't
He's what?
he? I believe.
He's one of the people on the permit, I
Special
think.
Counsel Joseph Lombardo.
Yes, I believe the person requesting the adjournment is one of the principals on the blind, so.
What was the reason for the adjournment? Is there-
102
Illness.
fever.
Okay, wow, yeah.
Yeah, we don't
let's
want
see.
him here.
Let's adjourn it until.
Let's definitely, yeah, stay home with 100.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. All right, so I don't have a problem with that.
Do we have any other
Is there any other-
testimony
any other-
for this hearing?
Well,
I'm aware of, unless Charles has somebody.
Charles, is there anybody on Zoom? I think
You
you
want
said
to
nobody.
talk about it first?
no hands on that, so,
Well-
you know what, let's just adjourn it then, so we can get a good conversation. Otherwise, we're just gonna be spinning wheels here.
Yep.
Right?
Let's
Yep.
adjourn to the second meeting in January?
All right.
January 22nd?
122?
22?
Yeah,
So you making that motion?
yes, I'll make that motion.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Pell, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that's adjourned. Okay, second one, notice of public hearing on amendment of the Blue Book A340, amending the management products of the waters of the town of Southampton, Article 4, Section 21, waterfowl sanctuaries. I'll make a motion to open this one up.
Second?
Seconded by Trustee Pell, all in favor?
Aye.
This was a continuation of a public hearing to create a sanctuary, but you want to speak to that, Special Counsel?
Yeah, we've spoken about this on a number of occasions. We needed to formally hold a public hearing
Can you show
to
the sanctuary?
memorialize and designate the area that will be deemed to be the waterfowl sanctuary. We have the GPS coordinates, and all this will do is just make it available for the public to know to stay out and let the birds alone.
Right, it's,
It's noted on the
It's-
screen,
yeah.
or
Village
James is
Court.
pulling it
It's
up.
it's
on
right
the
on
screen. It's
on our
Dune-
property.
Keep going,
Dune Road,
keep going, keep going,
Hampton Bays.
right there. Next, no,
Keep going, yeah.
Little further
That's
west.
cool.
Little further
Yeah.
east. there.
There you go. Yeah, so there was been substantial discussion relative to this, and, you know, managing this resource in this waterfowl program, the birds need a place to rest too.
Yeah.
And there's been various issues and, you know, a lot of discussion about this and what has made the most sense and has the most support is for this area to become a sanctuary.
And I believe this was an area that was suggested by a former permittee of the area.
Correct.
So-
Correct. There's been a tremendous amount of support for this becoming and from avid duck hunters.
Yes.
Avid waterfowlers that understand that you gotta have a good balanced resource to be productive, so.
Correct.
Is there anybody that is on Zoom that would like to speak to this, Charles? Public hearing number 2? Okay, anybody from the audience that would like to speak to this? Okay, so I would make a motion to close this public
I'll
hearing.
second.
Seconded, trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing is closed.
Thank you.
At this point in time, I will call on public portion. Anybody here in the room that would like to speak? You're going to speak at public portion now. Special counsel Joseph Lombardo.
I'm going to speak as special counsel, and I just want to add my thanks to the board for all of the work that was accomplished over the last 2 years. I don't think that you exaggerated in any way, Scott. This board worked together, it worked seamlessly, it worked unanimously. And as a citizen and a taxpayer, that's all I can hope for. And it was good to see that the public's concerns were always addressed as the first concern of this board. Best of luck to you, Ann. Best of luck to you, Bill Pell. Continue doing what you've done.
And Bill
Yeah.
Parrish.
And Bill Parrish, but
Bill
you're all going on to public service in a different capacity. And if you bring the skills and you bring the attitude that you demonstrated on this board, the public will have won once again. Thank you.
Thank you, thanks, Joe. I'll be talking to you again.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody? Zoom, fabulous. Scott?
Can you hear me? Oh, my name is Mike Marino. Can you hear me?
Okay,
Hello, my name is Mike Marino. Can you hear me?
sure.
Yes.
Greetings, board. Thank you. The wildfowl sanctuary that was just discussed, I live near a wildfowl sanctuary in East Quad. It's the Little Weesup Creek. And as I see, you just added an area to the list of, wildfowl sanctuaries. I believe it's in the Blue Book, these areas are listed, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do any areas ever get removed from this list?
No. No, waterfowl or shellfish sanctuaries, because Weesick is an area where we do have duck blinds in Weesick, but there's a shellfish sanctuary in Weesick. This is a,
No, I'm talking about a bird resting area.
Yeah, it's in Weesick, there's one in there.
there's one there too.
Up close to, it's way up there by the.
It must be very far up because at the southern end of Weesick, we have duck blinds.
Yeah, but no, you're up by the marinas.
But no, we generally don't, I don't have any recollection of us removing a sanctuary when you're trying to manage a resource where you have variables that don't make sense to have another blind there or have that activity there, especially when you have public safety concerns and you have balanced resource concerns with a lot of it.
Well, from what I understand, duck hunting isn't the only activity that's prohibited.
Well, I don't know, what activity are you talking about?
Well, I mean, the wording of the, I don't have the code in front of me, but the wording of it was disturb, in a bunch of ways, like, any way you can disturb the birds.
Yeah, that's a New York State law. You're not allowed to take a boat and run birds and chase them out of a sanctuary, or go down there with your dog and chase them out. When a
Right,
bird
this
is in a sanctuary,
That's a.
hunting or
exactly
disturbance,
what I'm kind of working at.
yes.
And I noticed this meeting, because every now and then I look at the website, and I saw this, and I was like, all right, let me tune in and just
Yeah.
hear it.
Yeah,
And I did want to say this. A couple of years ago, the town decided to put a dog park right next to the town marine preserve. There was that little marina there that was bought by the town.
Pine Neck Marina?
Pine Neck Marina.
Yeah, Pine Neck Marine.
Yeah.
They used to call it Pine Neck Marine Preserve. And recently, the language on all of their paperwork changed to the Pine Neck Marine Park or something. But it used to be called, and I have the paperwork, it used to be called the Pine Neck Marine Preserve. And the reason I bring this up is when the Bay Club property was bought by the CPF, it was right next door to me. So I was pretty interested in what was happening there, because it was right next door to me. And at the time, it was the supervisor, Anna Throne Holst. And I made her aware that there was a lot of birds there. I did notice, and I was surprised to see so many different types of birds. You know, anything from a kingfisher, all different kinds of ducks that rest in there. They hang out in there. And there's a lot of babies there. And even blue herons, and I saw young blue herons. I've been there about 10 years now. And then when I saw the town put this dog park right there, I thought that was strange, because it was listed as a bird resting area. And I just thought that having a lot of dogs up in there was disturbing to that. So that's why I asked the question when I first started speaking was, are there areas that get removed from this list? And that one, I don't think it should, because it really is a lot of wildlife that's undisturbed up there. There's nobody up there, especially now since the Bay Club is gone. It's it's a good spot for the birds to rest, and they do. There's quite a few different types of them.
That's exactly why.
Just wanted to say that.
No, I appreciate that.
You guys knew about that dog park.
We-
You had any input in that?
No,
none.
no. That's, the town and the trustees are two separate entities. We're two separate entities. Sometimes it makes sense for us to work collaboratively. That doesn't always happen. But this sanctuary that we're discussing is soundly on our property. We've got a substantial amount of public input, as you just testified yourself, that it makes sense for this to be a sanctuary. And quite frankly.
Oh, no, I understand. This is
Yeah.
a whole different story.
Yeah.
I just, wanted to ask if any areas that are deemed like that get removed. And you said no.
Not to my knowledge, no. So,
Okay.
appreciate your input.
No, thanks for your attention.
You got it.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you too.
Thank you.
Charles, is there anybody else on public portion with their hand up?
One second.
Okay.
James, thanks for pulling that up.
Yeah, all the way up in there, but we have duck blinds that are
Jesse
This
Warren.
is
south of that.
This
Yeah.
is the sanctuary.
Yeah, we've got them south of that.
It's outside.
Yeah, outside. of
Jesse
it.
Warren on Zoom.
Plus, there's a lot of houses up there.
Yeah, that's an area you can't, Hello?
Hello, how are you?
Okay, how are you?
I just want to make sure I'm on the right public portion. Is this public
This
comment?
this
or
is public comment period. This is public portion, correct. You're on the right
Excellent.
section here.
I was hoping to share my screen. There's a brief presentation I'd like to make regarding the Old Town Pond shoreline. And so I'm going to do that now, if that's okay, Charles.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So, I just wanted to briefly speak to the town board today
Trustee
regarding
board.
some work that was done at Old Town Pond on the shoreline, which the town trustees own, and that was regarding the bioswale on the north side of Old Town Pond, as well as some Phragmites management. So I just wanted to show you, for those who are not aware, this is the town trustee-owned shoreline, and the village of Southampton had basically taken a mower, and then it also had removed both the Phragmites via mowing, and had also removed some of the native species of plants. Now, this was part of a larger project for an Old Town Pond bioswale, where several years ago we applied for grant money to install this bioswale on the north side of the pond, which I'll get to. But there was a Phragmites management portion which did not really include what you're seeing here. So I just wanted to bring this to your attention, and I'll go to the next slide here. You'll see that the shoreline clearly looks like equipment was taken. It looks like the shoreline was damaged. Obviously there's a very specific protocol for removing or mowing Phragmites. But again, concern I had was that not only was the DEC permit not followed, but likely this was not brought to the attention of the town trustees. So here's another image of the Old Town shoreline. This was taken back in October. Again, here's an additional image. You'll see all the vegetation, both native and invasive, was cut down, removed, etc. And obviously, the village had worked very closely with the town trustees in coming up with a design and engineering plan to dredge Old Town Pond. We were also awarded $100,000 or so to create and design and engineer constructed wetlands on the north side. But this is obviously a complete reversal of some of that position. And obviously, we came to you then as far as the work that was done for the bioswale, dredging, potentially constructed wetlands. Also, what was removed, which I received some calls about, was some native species and some hibiscus. This was taken right out of the Old Town shoreline. The hardy hibiscus is obviously native to Long Island and actually has some special value because the hibiscus machuetos, or the hardy hibiscus, actually has a history of being used by Shinnecock Nation medicinally to help reduce inflammation. So there's actually a medicinal use of this as well. But these are some species of hibiscus that were potentially removed from the Old Town shoreline, which was disappointing, obviously, to many folks, but also should be disappointing to the town trustees. I'll keep on going here. Again, this just shows the north side of Old Town Pond. You could see the harmful algae blooms here. It looks like pea soup. Again, shoreline completely just exposed, leading to potential road runoff into the lake. The DEC permit that the village had did require that any vegetation get replaced. This was actually the bioswale that was permitted, that we got grant money from Suffolk County as well as other municipalities for. This will of course grow in. This is a brand new plantings at the time of this photo, but this should look nice and will obviously do the intended job of reducing runoff into Old Town Pond. And this was, of course, a collaborative effort with the town trustees. Now, what was also disappointing, potentially even more so than the complete exposure of the shoreline, which would, subject to runoff, was the planting of the ornamental non-native species. And I believe I had sent over a copy of the DEC permit, but this was done without a DEC permit. You can see obviously the shoreline and the adjacent area completely damaged with tire marks, trucks, etc. Not permitted at all by the DEC permit, and in this there was no permit at all for the plantings of these non-native species. Again, here's another look at a portion of the Old Town shoreline with these non-native species that were planted, again without any DEC permit and likely without any approval from this board. The town trustees were before you today. Now, what was also disappointing and concerning was that there's these slow-release fertilizer pellets that have been sprinkled and spread throughout the Old Town shoreline. Now, this contrasts sharply with the village's prior efforts to remove nitrogen and phosphorus from the groundwater and surface water from the lake. But when you see the weather today, you see the rain last night, last Sunday, there was a substantial rainfall. These fertilizer pellets and the nitrogen that they contain is clearly going to be added and run off right into the lake water. And this is a deep concern considering how much money, the millions of dollars we spend each and every year to try to fight nitrogen pollution when we're putting the nitrogen right back in to the lake water. And I could see no bigger problem than literally putting slow release nitrogen fertilizer pellets right on the shoreline of Old Town Pond. It goes opposite to all the principles that any environmentally minded individuals or water quality minded individuals would think to do. Just wanted to show you that there was this DEC permit. Obviously, you look at the permit number here, but the specifications in the DEC permit do not match the work that was done. The permit for the bioswales and the Phragmites management was contained here, but the bioswale work was, I believe, presented to the trustees, obviously not the Phragmite or wetlands work. So there is this permit. And if you look at the permit, there was a negative declaration provided by the DEC, but the problem with the negative deck was that it says that the Phragmites management will be done to minimize impacts to native vegetation and increase plant diversity along the shoreline. It says this project will result in nitrogen reduction and entering the pond and increasing plants diversity, including the removal of invasive species. Well, clearly the work done does not increase plant diversity, as you can see from the photos, and it also does not minimize impacts to natural vegetation. As you saw, all natural vegetation was gone, including some of these incredible hibiscus plants, which many village residents and town residents love. And then looking further into the DEC permit that, again, I provided to the town trustee board, you'll see that no equipment was prohibited in the wetlands, including heavy equipment, bulldozers, backhoes, payloaders, etc. There was also supposed to be a silt screen. A silt screen obviously will protect against runoff when the shoreline was exposed. And there was supposed to be the maintenance of a silt screen. The screen shall be maintained, repaired, replaced as often as necessary to ensure proper function until all distributed areas are permanently vegetated. Clearly, as you see from the photos, there is no silt screen, there's no maintenance of a silt screen, so it's critical that a silt screen be installed as soon as possible. Again, it says seed mulch to distributed areas. No seed or mulching was done, but the permit does call for that in all areas of soil disturbance resulting from this project. And the project shall be seeded with an appropriate perennial grass and mulched with straw immediately upon completion of the project within 2 days of final grading or the expiration of the permit, whichever is first. So clearly, none of that work was done. The permit also calls for native plant protection. All native shoreline vegetation shall be marked with ribbon prior to Phragmites excavation. Again, not being done. And then the Phragmites cutting shall be cut no lower than 18 inches above grade to prevent cutting of emerging native vegetation and promote native plant growth. Again, as you saw from the photos, they were cut well below the 18 inches above grade, again in complete violation and disregard of the DEC permit. The good news is that the state may be able to order removal or alteration of the work, which may need to happen considering the work that you have seen in the photos. Just to provide a little more background, it's a plan provided by Nelson Pope and Voorhees for some of the work that was being done, and this is provided to the town board. I've zoomed in here a little bit just to show you what the permit called for, or the plan calls for, which calls for furnishing and installation of perennial grass pavers. We don't unfortunately see any there. Topsoil and seed restoration as required. And obviously you see the wetland line, which goes pretty far close to the road. Calls for a limit of construction protected by a silt fence. And then again here on the right-hand side, it says the protection and maintenance of native plantings surrounding Old Town Pond. Again, this is what the plans called for, but obviously the work that was done does not match the plans that we helped create that were submitted to the DEC and submitted to the county and town for grant money. So I'll keep on moving here. There's not a lot left, but I did want to show some next steps that I wanted to suggest to the town board, or the town trustee board, if you'd be so willing to help with this. First, I think the town trustees who own the shoreline should evaluate and inspect the site. There's substantial work that was done, and with your help, perhaps we can help restore the shoreline. I believe the town trustees should work with the village and the New York State DEC to create a revegetative plan, including adding a buffer, planning for additional bioswales, and installing of native species of plants along the shoreline. This would help restore some of the work that was done. I also believe that the non-native ornamental plants should be removed, and we should try to get rid of those fertilizer pellets as quickly as we can if they're not already in the lake water. A silt fence should be installed immediately. We need that obviously to protect the shoreline from road runoff. Obviously, the town trustees who own the shoreline and the bottom of the lake bed may want to reach out in a collaborative effort to the New York State DEC to help get this project moving in the right direction. And most importantly, I believe there needs to be better collaboration and communication between the town trustees and the village board of trustees. I know during my tenure, we worked very closely. We came to you for guidance all the time and wanted to make sure that you were always included in every project. But given again that the town trustees own the lake bed, the shoreline, and one of your top priorities is obviously to protect the environment and the water quality. So these are some recommendations that I had proposed, but I'm also open to any additional questions, comments,
I have
or
a question,
suggestions.
Jesse.
I hope that this does help you. And again, I've provided the site plans and DEC permits for your reference, so you have some more information as to the type of work that went on and should have went on.
Okay, Jesse, I have a question. Where else have you gone with this? Have you gone to the state? Have you, a lot of these things are violations of their permit terms and conditions, of which, item C, always concerns me. Item C in the permit, page 7 of 7, which says the permittee is responsible for obtaining other required permits. Permittee is responsible for obtaining any other permit, approvals, land easements, and rights of way that may be required to carry out the activities that are authorized by this permit. That's always concerning to myself as the president of the Board of Trustees, because I've always held myself out to be collaborative with any board or any regulatory authority that there is, so that the people, the freeholders, and commonality of the trust can have their input into projects to make sure we're following our blue book and following our mission. And I have no problem reaching out to Mayor Manger. I did have a collaborative discussion with him on some other multi-jurisdictional things that we were working on, so I intend to make a phone call and try and, resolve things and try and, get things to be more forward-looking and proactive moving forward. But these violations are violations of a currently existing permit of the state. Have you reached out to the state yourself relative to this type of a presentation with them?
I haven't reached out to the state. I'd be happy to if that's a suggestion. I wanted to obviously come to this board first. Again, my role at this point is more of a citizen and helping raise awareness to issues that I personally care about and I believe the community and environmentalists care about. But I'm happy to help in any way.
Well, can I?
Sure.
I look at the project that was done there and that you're showing us. The majority of it was outside of our jurisdiction. It's upland. Whatever's in the water and seaward of it is specifically in our jurisdiction. We were never given an opportunity to look at plans or have any, back and forth discussions with the village about this project. You're bringing it to us after this is all done, and you're crying foul on it, and we're sitting here looking at this. Well, it looks bad, but we didn't have any information to base our assumptions on.
Yeah, that's right. That's a big issue because I don't think anyone knew about the Phragmite management work. I mean, I think a lot of people saw it after the work was done. I didn't know the village was going to be doing this. But what was also disappointing, you saw some of those images, when the Phragmites were mowed down, a lot of the Phragmites then fell into the lake water.
Floated
And are
around.
currently decomposing and probably breaking down into nitrogen and other nutrients, which
They should have
obviously help.
been, they should have been retrieved from that process, because all those Phragmites that were cut down in the fall of the year, all had seeds on them. So you cut them down, those seeds are gonna go in the water, and they're gonna propagate the rest of the pond. You know, whoever did this project didn't have any foresight looking that when you cut these things down, you're basically seeding that pond up with, you know, for a future Phragmites bloom.
And also to fix the dock up.
Yeah, and I had reached out to Dr. Gobler last year when the topic of this came up, and I actually helped stop it. I thought that we had stopped it permanently. But again, the main point here is not to look back at what happened, but how everyone could work together to help
Right.
fix this situation. Obviously, you know, silt fence is important, natural vegetation or revegetation is extremely important. Making sure that we can obviously get those fertilizer pellets, you know, the ones that are still there that haven't gone into the lake.
I would say first and foremost, an application before our board so that we can review it and make suggestions on it.
Right.
Without that happening, it's really not gonna be productive for us.
Right.
You know, the thing to keep in mind here is that this was a water quality grant. So should this go to CPF to be discussed?
I think this,
or to
now
the Water
that now
Quality
that we're
Board?
sitting here, obviously in public portion, having a conversation with
Yeah, you
a
might be
concerned
right.
citizen,
You might be
I
right.
think this is gonna have to be
Or at least notified.
well, yeah, I think this is gonna have to be a collaborative discussion, and I think it also prompts us to take a look at our blue book and some of our past resolutions relative to making sure that the villages understand that we are property owners, and we are trustees with a fiduciary duty to protect these assets, including these lakes and ponds and creek beds and all these other assets that are held by the trust. And we need to be consulted with. We are, you know, I believe the board that's closest to the people. Anytime, you know, you, when you were mayor, would ever call me, I think I would go out of my way to immediately answer a phone to try and help and with whatever it is. And I do the same thing, obviously, with Mayor Manger and anybody else that calls me, or any of the other villages that reach out that need my help. I'm certainly there, and this board's been there. So we have to have some conversations, and we have to figure out where we go from here and how do we make this so that it doesn't happen in the future, so that the people's concerns that put us here, the freeholders and commonality of the town of Southampton, and we're here to represent protecting their resources and respecting what the regulations are. So I will reach out, and then I'm sure there's gonna be continued conversation relative to how we deal with this moving forward here.
And if it was a CPF-funded project, they have to be looped in too, because if they're gonna be giving, you know, public money to this, you know, project, and it's not done right, it doesn't look good on them either.
Right.
And it's gotta be, someone missed the boat on oversight here, whether
Right.
it's the village or the DEC. A project was done, and it was done incorrectly, and it needs to be brought back
Right.
and revisited and to be cleaned up.
And I think like anything else, when you have something that's gone wrong, you know, you can't go back in time and undo it. But what you do from the point in time at which you discover that it's gone wrong really is what makes the difference and sets the tone for the future. And I think that's where we need to go today. We need to have some conversations, figure out how we, you know, make the wrong right, and then figure out how we move forward collaboratively and proactively so that everybody does the right thing, so.
And to be clear, trustee jurisdiction for Old Town Pond is the high water,
Seaward, yeah.
right? But in the pond, it's not just the bottom of the pond, is it in fact the shoreline?
It is, well, up to where that
The
water is, and then if you're doing an activity, and that activity has the potential to affect that water body, I think at that point in time, at the very least, you should be collaborative to say, we're gonna be removing, you know, invasive species and replacing it with native vegetation, and it's gonna have an effect on your water body. Let's have a collaborative discussion. I think that's really, you get a much better result, and I think that a lot of the, you know, benefits that this board had in the past couple of years is from collaborating with everybody around the table to do the right thing, and
In the same way that we ask for input from the Conservation Board.
absolutely.
Because it's adjoining jurisdictions.
Right, we want to, that's correct. We had that discussion in work session, and it was answered questions that, what would their issues be, what would their concerns be, they've been addressed. And at times when it's unclear, we will request a written document that says, yeah, okay, here's what our issues are, and we will try and craft those concerns so that everybody is covered, okay? In order for it all to work, we all have to work together. And I think the public understands that, and the public expects that. And that's what has to happen, so.
So to Jesse's point today, what are actionable
Well,
items going forward?
I think the
then
first thing
on
is a
our-
conversation. I'll make a phone call to the mayor, and we'll have a conversation and figure out where it is that we go from here. It's their permit, it's the DC, which is why I asked, did you notify them? But we're gonna have some conversations with some folks.
If a DEC permit and a project goes bad, they should contact the environmental analyst that did the review over the application and vetted to the permit, for them to go down and make an assessment of what the permit was supposed to pertain to and how it either went wrong one way or another, so that you have basically a written pathway forward for remediation.
Right. To be continued.
All right, thank you very much. I hope this was a little bit of a help, and happy holidays to everybody.
All right.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you.
Thank you. Charles, is there anybody else on public portion that needs to let the trustees know, or have a question or issue, concern?
I see no other hands.
All right. Going once, going twice,
Go on.
gone. All right, let's get into the applications. Footprints. The Board of Trustees hereby waives a public hearing on the following applications because it has been determined that the following projects do not raise significant degree of public interest or public input is not needed to aid in the decision-making process. Some of them we've already had public input and public hearings on, but Ann, I'll let you
Trust-
start.
Trustee Resolution 2023-348. This is an application, or this is a final renewal for the permit number GP 000143 Claxton House LLC, 8 John Street, Village of Sag Harbor, Suffolk County Tax Map 903-4-2-15, Body of Water, Otter Pond Creek. This is to renew the permit issued December 5th, 2019, to install a ramp, fixed dock, kayak and paddleboard racks, and remove Phragmites at this property. I'd like to recommend its approval.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2023-349, applicant is Lee Spiegel, 192 Redwood Road, Village of Sag Harbor, Suffolk County Tax Map 903-1-2-7, Body of Water, Sag Harbor Cove. This is to construct a living shoreline by constructing marsh sills, backfilling with clean trucked-in fill, creating a berm, landward of tidal wetlands, planting Spartina alterniflora, American beach grass, and the most important part, as far as I'm concerned, annual monitoring for 5 years will be conducted by A.M. Weber and Associates, and I'd like to recommend this approval.
I'll second that one.
Seconded by Trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Birthday boy.
Trustee Resolution 2023-350. This is the applicant is DKR Shores, Inc., Gina Rigdon. Renewal application, second of permit number GP 000350, Village Marine of West Hampton Ltd., 33 Library Avenue, extension, Village of West Hampton Beach, Body of Water, Moneybog Bay.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Pell, all in favor?
Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2023-329, this termination of waterfowl hunting location permit 155. This was a public hearing that was adjourned today, so I'd like to table this resolution.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Got trustee resolution 2023-351, waterfowl hunting location permit. We're going to recall and amend 2023 Trust 325, whereas the Southampton Town Trustees Resolution 2023-325 was adopted on November 20th, amending several waterfowl hunting location permits, and the Board of Trustees 2023 Trust 325 should be recalled and amended to correct the application type for permit number 67 from a transfer to an addition of a co-permittee. The application for Brian Cardino, permit number 67, should read, Brian Cardino, permit number 67, addition of co-permittee James C. O'Neill. And so be it resolved that all other content of trustee resolution 2023 Trust 325 shall remain the same.
Second.
Seconded, trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye. Trustee Resolution 2023-352, waterfowl hunting location permit. Late renewal for Michael J. DiPietro, permit number 240.
I'll second that.
Seconded by trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2023-353, the 2023-2024 waterfowl hunting location applicant removal of co-permittee Finn A. Kelly and Kenneth A. Booth Jr. for permit 131, the removal of co-permittee Kenneth A. Booth Jr. I'd like to recommend the approval.
Second.
Seconded, trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2023-354, this is for the 2023-2024 waterfowl hunting location permit, return spot to wait list, the permit number 199, Richard K. Corwith, Noyak Creek. I'd like to recommend approval.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2023-355, so 2023-24 waterfowl hunting location applications for approved individual from waitlist. Approved to Jonathan Corwin, Peconic River. Move for it to be adopted.
Second.
Seconded, trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I've got Budget and Finance 2023-356, this is to recall and rescind trustee resolution 2023-142.
What is this? Just remind me.
2023-142, you should have a copy of this in front of you. There was a couple of resolutions that we
So
had
right here.
passed.
It was passed in May 1st, 23.
So this is the movement.
So this one here is the 2023-142.
There's a recall and rescind on for both resolutions, for 109 and 142.
Right, so 109, I've got 109 in front of me.
Right, what's
Here.
142?
It was
Resolve
142.
142, give me 142. So 142 is the resolution where Town of Southampton adopted on April 3rd additional funding for part-time salaries of $49,000, whereas the Village of Southampton donated monies to the town for piping plover program. The amount of additional funding allocated to the town needs to be changed to reflect the donation from the Village of Southampton. And what we did was we gave $39,150 to fund that, but what's happening is not all of that money is being used. And since we did not get approved for our tax district, that money will not stay in the district. It would get swept into the general fund. This is a trust that was not a donation. It was for a specific purpose. And since the money's not being used for that purpose, it needs to come back to the trust since it's not able to stay in the district. So this is a trust. We're not making donations to the general fund. We're just trying to cover our expenses. So we're recalling that to put it back into the trust.
If you require legal advice on this, I would defer to Mr. Lombardo for reasons I know.
I don't, yeah, thanks. It's just simple accounting. If we give money for a cost share for employees
For a year.
for a year, you cannot, just so the public understands, we can't hire people like dock inspectors or piping
We want
plover
to change back.
monitors without sequestering money, which means you put money aside that shows that there is money in that budget to pay for those employees. And what happens, for example, with plover monitors, they go back to college, and you don't use them for all that period of time. And our dock inspector left for a different position. So what had happened was, we had sequestered money that was not enterprise money from the Parks Department or any other department of the town. This is a trust. So if the trust is cost sharing on something like this, there needs to be a reconciliation at the end of the year, and the unused funds need to come back to the trust. This is money that belongs to the freeholders and commonality of the town of Southampton. It belongs to their trust fund. What we're doing is being mindful of how that money is spent. And if it's not getting spent, it is not a donation to the general fund. It must come back. And this is an official resolution requesting that money back. And then a new year will come, and there will be new expenses that are needed for the trustees to have to pay for. We spend a lot of money on shellfish reseeding and taking care of fixing up docks and piers and boat ramps and various things throughout the town so that everybody can have a nice, fun, safe time. But I don't think it's appropriate to provide money to the general fund for specific purposes and then it not be used for those purposes. That's the fiduciary duty of a trustee. So we're just being mindful. Both of these resolutions are relative to that, and they are official requests for a reconciliation of the end of the year for that money to come back. I mean, fair is fair. If you go to your lawyer and you give him money to his escrow account for a closing or some other transaction, he doesn't keep the leftover money. He returns it to its rightful owner. And in this case, it's the trust. So does that answer your question?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was
say it
more for
again?
public's edification.
No problem.
Just to make sure we're on the same.
So anyway, I'm sure we'll get some phone calls on
We're gonna
it, so.
use it next year, right, Mr.
Yes,
President?
well, that's what happens, is we then, a whole new year starts, and it's a whole new ballgame, and then, you know what, hopefully, we get the district. It was delayed, it was approved and signed by the governor to clean this up so that that money would stay in the district. And then you're all good. Your money's protected, it's locked down in that district. You don't have to be doing these types of things. But since that got delayed, here we are, okay? So hopefully, you know, it gets implemented by January 25. We work on it immediately, and the trust is protected, the freeholders are protected, natural resources, public access, that's what the trustees' mission is. So, again, I'll put the motion out there, 2023-356, seconded by trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Similar discussion, it's trustee resolution 2023-357. It's to recall and rescind trustee resolution 2023 trust 109. I'll request that one be approved as well.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Pell, all in favor?
Aye.
2023-358, budget and financing. Recall and amend authorized payment service to automatic rental, ARI. Whereas the Town of Southampton Resolution 2023-337 was adopted on December 4th, 2023, authorized payment for truck repair. Whereas the Board of Trustees, 2023-337 should be recalled and amend the GL from trustee roads SN-8791-00-6420-000 to the correct GL vehicle repair SN-99-8790-00-6408-000, and so be it.
I'll second it.
Seconded by trustee Warner, all in favor?
Thank you.
All right, so we've got trustee resolution 2023-359, notice of adoption of amendment of Blue Book A340, amending the management and products of the waters of the town of Southampton, Article 4, Section 21, waterfowl sanctuaries. Whereas the trustees of the freeholders and commonality of the town of Southampton considered a change in the rules and regulations for management of products of town waters, Article 4, Section 21. Whereas the Board of Trustees of the freeholders and commonality of the town of Southampton held a public hearing today, Monday, December 18, 2023, at 1 o'clock to hear any and all persons either for or against. We did hear people that were for. Resolved that Article 4, Section 21, waterfowl sanctuaries, refuges, and resting areas of the rules and regulations for management products of the town waters is hereby amended as follows. Did we update the Blue Book A340 40, Article 4, Section 21, to establish the waterfowl sanctuary on the portion of Shinnecock Bay located just to the area next to the incorporated village of Quogue, of which we have GPS coordinates for. Amend the rules and regulations for the management and products of the waters. Waters of the following areas have been deemed wildfowl sanctuaries and resting areas of all wildfowl. No person shall disturb, hunt, shoot, or otherwise take any wildfowl whatsoever within the herein described boundaries of the following incorporated village, a portion of Shinnecock Bay located on property formerly known as Swan's property, bearing, and there is a big list of GPS coordinates outlining that area.
And it's going to be displayed on our website
It will be
also.
displayed on our website. There's been substantial public input in the positive for taking this action, and I would like to make a motion to adopt.
I will
Second.
second that.
Seconded by pretty much everybody, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Trustee Resolution 2023-360 authorizes the president to sign a contract with Cornell University Cooperative Extension of Suffolk County for shellfish spawners and seeding a 2023 term. This is money that we historically every year have put into shellfish reseeding. This year, we're going to, I'll read the whole part of it. Whereas Cornell Cooperative Extension of Suffolk County, Cornell submitted a proposal to provide 700,000 clams, 50,000 oysters, and 40,000 bay scallops in a 4-hour educational event for the price of $37,655 per calendar year. Basically, for this year, they have provided this. The shellfish have been put in the water, and we've been doing this every year since I've been on the board, which is 17 years. I think it's a good project, and I think it should continue, so I recommend its approval.
Just a
Second.
question, I'm
Yes.
fine with it, but these are educational events for the public?
No, these are shellfish seeding, and they come in, and at the end of the year, they give us an overview where they put the shellfish, how they do it, how they were grown, and any other questions that the public or the board can ask them.
Okay, so this is 4 hours of education to the trustee board, not to the public, then?
And,
That's what I was
and
trying
the
to.
public can be part of it if they can watch, when they come in and present before us at the board here. Anytime we need any of our questions asked about spawner sanctuaries, eelgrass plantings, and all the other stuff that we have, projects going on with Cornell, they come before us and they'll give this, their time and their expertise, explain it to the board what they're doing, and also the public gets to watch it on TV, so they get educated also.
Much better
Maybe-
use of our funds than
Yeah.
just giving it away.
Of
Hey,
course,
Ed.
maybe,
Can you
Me-
put some in Cold Springs, some clams, and some oysters?
They were,
Make sure.
they're gonna come, they're gonna present us with a year-end summary of their
Yeah.
project for this year, and like they have in the past
Yeah,
years, they're
just
gonna
wanna
come
make
in.
sure they hit that place.
Yeah, I don't know exactly the amount of area that they did, but
Yeah.
those are the two of the areas. Shinnecock was another area, Western Shinnecock was another area.
I think last
Merchants
year we
was
skipped
another
that.
area. I kind of spread
Yeah,
everything out, because, and they were in kind of a rush to do it this year, so.
yeah.
But they will come and present to us.
Okay.
A formalized presentation where everything went in.
Okay.
And they GPSed all the areas where they put the
Before we
shellfish.
vote, can I make a request on this?
I was gonna make one too. Go ahead.
You want to make one? Go ahead. Ladies first, right?
Well, what I was going to suggest was perhaps going forward, I know I've participated with the East Hampton Town Shellfish Hatchery when they've done their release of the spawn, and they do it in a public way where they collaborate with a couple other organizations and sometimes a school group or a school classroom. Maybe going forward, one of the 4 hours of educational events could be in sort of a site visit field trip.
I could definitely, I could put something together and ask them to more, look towards the younger population. I know they do, the Common Garden, project over at Tiana Bayside, and they do have a sanctuary over there where they put some of the, shellfish. So I could ask them to expand a little bit and maybe bring in one of the biology classes from one of the school, or maybe a couple of schools, and teach the kids what the importance of spawning shellfish and putting them in areas where they can propagate and properly, reseed the bay, and also with the eelgrass.
I think that'd be great.
I mean-
Billy's boys class might want to come.
Well, I will, I'm all about that, you know, the next generation, you know, that's why I'm here, I'm not here for me.
You know, well, that's what I was gonna say, you know, my suggestion, I know you're thinking about the younger, but I'm thinking
Yeah.
about us older. I'd like mine in a bowl in the Manhattan style.
No.
With some crackers. Can you do that?
No, that is not education.
No, that's not gonna work. I tried.
But anyway, thank you, Ed.
No,
If we could look to that
I'm
going forward,
always
that'd be
looking
great.
to expand the
Because-
program and educate the next
It's great,
generation.
it's great. You make the motion, can I second it?
Yeah.
Wait, you had
Well,
something to
I
say.
believe you have,
Well, I just wanted a bowl of chowder.
Of course.
it's all about food.
So I'll second your,
All right,
I'll second your motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Edward.
all right. Trustee Resolution 2023-361, 2024, notice to commercial and recreational harvesters regarding the North Sea Hard Clam Management Area. We have established a hard clam management area in North Sea Harbor, which we're going to have specific dates of the ability for people to harvest. The dates as they are proposed here is May 21st, 2024 to May 28th, 2024, June 5th, 2024 to July 4th, 2024, August 27th, 2024 to September 2nd, 2024, December 17th to December 2024 to December 31st, 2024, and further resolve the area will be open every Tuesday beginning May 28th, 2024 through September 3rd, 2024. The limits, hard clam limits are 2 bushels, not more than 500 hard clams per bushel of little necks a day. There will be no restrictions on larger cherries and chowders, and the recreational allowable harvest is 100 clams per day. So I recommend its approval.
Second.
Seconded, trustee Pell, all in favor?
Thank you.
Trustee Resolution 2023-362, Budget and Finance, warrant 22 of 2023. Trustees resolve recommend a review of the town comptroller the following vendor payment warrant 22 be approved in the amount of $3,639.86. Warrant 22.
Seconded.
Do you want to read?
Oh, you gave
the-
it.
Yes,
read
I'm
these
turning the page if you give me a minute, Ann. Bobcat of Medford, 6518. Law Office of Con and Con, $2,134. William Decker, $768. Town of Southampton, $252.68. Weisted Fabric, $420. Total of $3,639.86.
Now, before we vote on that, I just want to, I think this personal marine service, William Decker, I think that was an expense brought to us based on somebody dumping a vessel at us
Vessel,
here,
yeah.
right? So this is becoming a problem, people dumping
Or was
things.
it them hauling the barge out?
I don't know, but
They did both.
we got, maybe it was on the barge.
I think
We-
Do you know, Jeff?
that boat got,
Was it the
Not
sailboat, the boat that was abandoned
stuck.
in
that went to
Diana?
another, I asked Richie about that, and Richie said, no, it's going out of another account.
Just gotta be,
Okay.
yeah, we just gotta watch this stuff, because there's been a lot of dumping going on our properties, whether it be the roadways or the bays,
No.
people can't get rid of it. And it ends up getting to be an expense of the trustees, and we're gonna have to figure out, and there's some discussion about perhaps, establishing some type of a fund to deal with this, because it is becoming problematic.
I'm pretty sure this is the barge.
Maybe it is, but,
This is the right price.
yeah, but we're gonna have to watch this other situation.
Is that right,
carefully.
Jessica? Can you check on that?
Yeah, I'm asking Lisa.
All right, so I'll give you a second
As
on
soon
this
as it
thing.
become a public issue where gas or diesel oil could possibly get into the water, right away it becomes public safety and an environmental issue, which could be much bigger. So we have to be proactive on this, but at the same time, we need to maybe get reimbursed. too.
Exactly, there should be some other type of an environmental fund that looks to this, because this problem's getting worse and worse. And it is an environmental problem, and I think that we're gonna have some conversations. But I'll give you your second, are we all in favor?
All right.
All right, okay. Now, we've got some other trustee discussions, I think. We have some walk-ons too. Yeah, we got walk-on 1 and walk-on 2, so let's get permission to walk a couple of resolutions on.
I'll second.
Seconded by trustee Warner, all in favor?
All right.
Aye. So the first one here, application of RRRCB Inc., 42 Dock Road, Remsenburg, whereas the Board of Trustees, finds that the subject project is a type 2 action. Pursuant to 6 NYCR Part 617, no further environmental reviews required under the State Environmental Quality Review Act. Now therefore be resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Freeholders and Commonalty of the Town of Southampton hereby authorize the President and Secretary Treasurer to sign permit of RRRCB Inc. for the reconstruction of existing 161-foot section of bulkhead utilizing vinyl sheet piling in place, same height, proposed reconstruction of existing 4x161 feet boardwalk using non-treated lumber for erosion and flood protection and marina facility use. The reconstruction of 15.8 by 10.2 concrete pad for frame shed and 8 by 8 concrete pad for ice shed. As needed, bulkhead and boardwalk will be backfilled with 100 cubic yards of clean fill from an approved upland source. Respectfully, one for the premises located at 42 Dock Road, Remsenburg.
This was advanced at the last work session and had the plan stamped. It was just left off before the agenda was made, so.
So it's all compliant, so
Right.
Yep.
I'll second it.
Seconded, trustee Warner, all in favor? Okay, number 2, recall and amend 2023-247, whereas the Southampton Town Trustees Resolution 2023-247 adopted on September 6, 2023, authorized the payment for tree removal on Old Canoe Place Road, Hampton Bays by Jackson Dodds and Company in an amount not to exceed $9,490, whereas the GL listed for the authorized payment was incorrect. It should have been GL SN-99-8791-00-6420-0000, not GL SN-99-8791-00-6421-0000. Now therefore it be resolved that the resolution 2023-247 shall be recalled and amended to list the correct GL.
I'd like to just say one quick thing.
Sure.
We talk a lot about the roads. This road, we actually own the deed to it. We actually own this road, and we're taking very good care of it. We try to.
Yes.
Yeah, it needs help. You seconding this?
Yes.
Seconded, trustee Pell, all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah. We need to have a better, there needs to be
Funding source.
recurring funding source because it's not a sustainable scenario. We've got some discussions, that could be one of them, but hopefully maybe in this upcoming year, we can get some resolution to some of these things. It's in the best interest of public safety, and that's always number one,
Yes.
right?
We don't want trees falling
Now,
on people's vehicles.
on the subject of public safety and shared resources, maybe you could help me with this. So we got hunting season going on, and then we got the bayman out there also, but, bay's a shared resource. Sometimes, with the razor clamming and whatnot going on, with the guys with the duck blinds, is there a way that we can kind of get it so the baymen can do their thing, but yet it doesn't, interfere with the duck hunting stuff going on at the same time? Is there a way to balance this shared resource where it could work? Because hunters are calling up and they're not, they're like upset because I can't hunt because this is going on and, could the guy go over there? And I'm just trying to figure out how to best manage a shared resource. And with the bayman, is there a way to?
Well, normally, when I would be on the water clamming, if I was there first, the hunter would give me respect and let me do my, make my day's living. If he was there first hunting, I'd go in other places.
Gotcha.
So maybe it's a conversation with the bayman to, if someone's out hunting, has their decoys out and they're all rigged out, to give them respect that day, of allowing them to do their hunting and then go back there a different day.
Right, I'm just trying to figure out, because it's a shared resource, and you want everybody to enjoy that resource. So I'm just trying to figure out, what's the best way?
Is it one area in particular, or is it
I mean,
multiple areas?
Is it
no-
Well, I mean,
No.
they should be able to have conversations amongst themselves.
They
Because,
should.
I mean, there's only a couple times that this has been an issue, and it's because people don't respect the other person's living or respect the hunting. If you're a true bayman waterman and you put years in out there and you realize that someone's hunting out there and it's taken a couple hours of his day to set up his rig and to go hunting, you should have respect to give him the ability to hunt that day and not interfere with his hunting. And I've asked the fishermen and the hunters to have conversations amongst themselves, where a couple conversations were had last year, and they easily resolved the problem.
Right. I did
And
the same way.
It was more of a misunderstanding.
Right.
I'd rather take that route, because I think
Yeah.
that way they would respect each other and know who they're dealing with.
Yeah.
And if it escalates, then we're gonna have to do some other type of process.
Right, well, that's why I bring it up, because I feel the same way as you, it's a shared resource, there should be respect. And I've said this a lot of the problems that we have, even today, are for lack of respect. Whether it be the resource, whether it be regulations, whether it be, other people. Respect is very important to have throughout this whole process, so. But thank you for that, and hopefully it'll resolve itself and everyone can do what they want to do, go hunting, catch razors, whatever. Anybody else have anything? I know we're getting whooped on pretty good here in the town of Southampton with erosion and waves and flooding and rainwater. It's been a heck of a day here, and we're probably going to be seeing, we've been stuck in, here in town hall all day. We're probably going to be seeing some aftermath.
Can
when we get out
I
of here.
make a recommendation
Sure.
that you contact the Bay Constables and ask them for a storm update?
I will do that.
In our areas, so that we have, if there's an issue with docks, or if there's an issue with something breaking loose, or flooding, or some potential issues, so that we can go down and look at it and get on top of it before our next
I
meeting.
will call them right after I gavel. How about that?
That's good.
So before you go, I just want to say that I think it probably gives each of us a good feeling to be able to pass our seats along on this board to 3 such great new trustee-elects. It's very comforting to know that we're putting these seats in good hands, and it takes courage to run and to serve in public office, and we applaud the new board members that will be coming on in the next month or so. And just to repeat, this board is nothing without the team that surrounds us, and that team has done such a commendable job over the years. So we really applaud you and thank you for all of you, for all that you've done, and that includes marine maintenance and the, the harbor patrol, as well as other departments within the town who we work with. I just want to say, as I take leave of this seat, I'm trusting in the work of the current board members that will be staying on, the incumbents, but also the new trustees, to carry on the work on Mill Pond, to carry on the work on Mecox Bay, and to carry on the work on Sag Pond, all of which are in my area, all of which are CPF water quality grants. And this has been a long process. I think James would agree with me on that, to get us to where we are with the funding, but it's important now that that funding, those projects be completed and carried on and maintained, and that funding also remain in place in order for us to be able to do the work that we are doing. So I thank you to each of you. It's been a pleasure serving with you, and that includes all of you in this room.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you.
But I have to say one thing real quick about the CPF projects. Once you start a project, you need to continue that project, and it's a building. It's like building a home. It's block by block by block. You start the project, you try to get the finished product done, and then get the payment to the vendor, and then hire another vendor or that vendor. It's not one project where you just one and done. It's a series of projects where eventually, like, I'll give you a good example, Mecox, getting our dredging permit, getting it open, getting it flushed, getting a long dredge, getting the water quality, getting the money, getting the funding, having the conversations with all the people around the pond, and getting everybody on the same page so that we can all work, the commercial, recreational, and everybody else. Having the bay constables, hiring more bay constables for better enforcement of the shellfishermen and the crabbers during the season. So it's a constant, it's a big circle, and it keeps coming around year after year after year. But once you get there, you just have to make sure everything keeps moving ahead slowly and easily. That's the key. And as the trustees elect will find out, working in government, it works at a glacial pace. So,
Except for the fact that you're gonna be in trustee boot camp, Reveille's at 0400, and these are your drill instructors right here. So you guys better be taking your vitamins,
Go to bed early.
going to bed early. Oh, Jessica, do you have the new trustee pamphlets made up so that you have all the trustees?
I
Not
heard
quite
they're
yet.
900 pages.
Wait,
I'm working on it.
it's gonna be fun. Hey, look, what, did the other guy run away already? What happened? You scared him away? And happy birthday to Mr.
Thank you.
Mr. Bill Parrish. It's been a pleasure having you on the board.
I'd like to say that it's been a pleasure working with all of you. I came here 2 years ago, not knowing much. You all helped me. You've taught me a lot. You've become friends. I forged a friendship with each of you. The staff has been spectacular. Jessica, James, Lisa, Stephanie. I've known Ann since high school, but I got to know Bill sitting next to him for 2 years. Ed, and especially Scott, who took me under his wing. I thank you.
My pleasure. I'm gonna miss you.
Yes, greatly.
But you're not going too far.
No, I'm not going
But
there.
we have forged some good friendships, we have.
Yes.
And I'm a people person, I like people, and it's been great, really. I've learned a lot from you too, Bill.
We met a lot of people.
And
along
Joe.
the way.
We have to
We taught
mention
him a
Joe.
few things.
Scott, you just like people who go out to dinner with them, that's,
Stop giving up the goods on Scott.
that's a good thing.
Thank you to
So,
Charles Certain.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry. Thank you to Charles Certain and CTV too. Couldn't do this without you, Charles.
When is the first pizza party, so I'm invited to trustees' new office?
You guys.
You know, the town board's allowed to come now.
We'll let you know.
Okay.
It's gonna be good,
A welcome party.
yes.
Yes.
Welcome to 240.
Yeah, we got some good pizzerias in the base too.
Yeah, they deliver.
Yeah,
Correct the number too, probably.
right. One's got a fish tank. Well, listen, I wish everybody a happy and healthy holiday season, and be safe, everybody, please. You know, it's a little crazy out there. There's a lot of people out on the roadways. It's not the same as it was back in 1970, right, Eddie?
No.
And, you know, it's been a pleasure serving you, the public, for this year, and look forward to turning the page and starting a whole new year and facing a whole new set of challenges and overcoming them as well. So enjoy yourselves, folks. Thank you very much.
Yes, again, thank you, everyone.
Yep.
That's 14 years.
Now, before I adjourn, I want to state that we're going to go into executive session for the purposes of discussing pending litigation. Okay?
I'll second that.
Seconded by trustee Warner. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, have a great one, everybody.
Thank you.
It's warm in here
It
today.
is.
Yeah.
It's cold.
We have an exec session in here, or?
Well, we can wait here.